4 bullet points of focus in my trading lately. Awareness, control, plans, execute.
But like the stock doesn't care what your entries, your REs, anything. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. So
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Gen Traders YouTube channel. As you can see, it's just me and Alex. Obviously, it's been a long time. It's been almost a month since we've had an episode. We've had a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts and schedules and stuff. But we're back for this one. We're recording this on March 12th, so this is Saturday night. And we're going to get into a normal kind of schedule that we usually do, listed, OTC market. We got a lot to talk about with the markets. Then we'll go over our trades from the week, as well as get into a little bit of open discussion at the end with whatever is on our mind. So getting right into that, I'll start off by going over the listed market. And this is the first time in a very, 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 very long time that I can say this, that this week was a pretty damn good market. I'm going to be completely honest. There was a lot of runners. The oil and gas sector was definitely moving. It was triggering, a gold run towards the end of the week. But there was just a lot of volatility this week and a lot of opportunity. And as I'll talk about later, I shot myself in the foot more times than I needed to. But bottom line, the listed market is a lot better than it has been in the past. And if this momentum that happened this week can continue over the next few weeks, then that would just be completely perfect. But complete momentum shift, and just looking forward to making most of the opportunities that it brings. So that's about all I can say.
yeah, and it's kind of sad to say, but the war actually was a good thing for the market. It's very dumb. Like it's very dumb how
It is dumb.
people, yeah, whatever. So the same thing with the OTCs is like this last 2 weeks. So right when March started, like the week of 29th, 28th of February, and then by now it's pretty good. I would say I would say so. Last week, not this week, like last week, the first week of March, there were like 4 very solid OTC moves. Like some of them I missed, but they were like very good of them, like 4 in 1 week. Then this week there were like 2, 3, I think, like very good ones. So yeah, lately it's been pretty good, and I was able to like a little bit capitalize. So and it feels good after all these months of literally nothingness, and finally we're getting some freshness. But still, obviously, the volume is not there, anything not there. We just need new runners to come, and then whenever they come, then hopefully the whole overall market with listed and OTC is gonna run. So yeah, overall it's pretty good, and I really hope that's gonna continue. And I remember, how many times we said the market's gonna change and then didn't change.
Yep.
I was talking to my friend. I was like, after the last week when it was good, I said we had a lot of good 1 weeks in OTCs, but then the next week was nothing. So if the next week is gonna be good still, there's gonna be like a trend change. So technically this week
Yeah.
was good.
True.
Like 2 good weeks in a row. So that means that next week I'll have like a little bit more conviction, but still obviously not. I'm not gonna imagine it's like February 2021, but the more we go and the more plays I see, then the more conviction, and I can even like start to size up too. So yeah, it's very great to see finally some action.
Definitely. Yeah, perfect way to sum it up. All right, so Alex is going to get into his trades for the week. So go right ahead, sir.
So I'll go over my trades. So basically all my trades for March. Not all my trades, but I mean from the beginning of the March, not only this week, because we didn't do an episode last week. So the first trade of the month was AABB. So this is a very interesting one because it was like very obvious. You see here again, I was looking for a first green day. The only reason why, so my trade was here on this day. The only reason why I was looking is because you see, so this is like February 28th. These stocks, they all started to bounce. Wait, they all started to bounce on this day. See, like in the end of the February, CYBL, I think DPLS. Yeah, see the same date. HMBL probably too. Yeah, so they're all bouncing, and NAB was the only one who didn't at that time.
Oh, gotcha.
Like on this day bounced, but it was like very just stupid on the intraday. So, and I was looking for a first green day, obviously. I was looking for a first green day all those days. Like it never ABB. It came on my watch list like here and never left the watch list since then.
Never left.
Yeah. So here. So this was that day when every stock bounced for some reason. Well, because the war started, right? It's stupid. Yeah, it bounced literally the day when that happened, 24th. And then it was like having like it had this bounce and then just was doing like nothing basically, but it was still holding. So I was looking for some trigger. And then here, yeah, on this day, in the morning, I was like, well, this looks like a nice trigger, you know, here. Like this looks like a nice trigger. So obviously I entered there and then I added, and the amazing thing that happened is next day they released the PR and it just skyrocketed. Like it just where is it? This one. Yeah. So I entered here, then I added here to the high day, moved my risk to the green red. And then here all day was just doing just consolidating, and I really wanted like a push into the close, but it didn't. The next day we got, and then it just like this was so huge, like out of nowhere. Obviously it was luck, like this happened, but I'm pretty sure even if it didn't happen, it would have just slowly went up, like all those stocks did. Like ILUS actually also. So it just like saved my time, you know. And my initial goal was one, like 10 cents, because this was 4 hour. That's why I sold it half. And then here, yeah, the R was incredible there, but I had like very small size there, so overall it wasn't. I mean, it was still very good, but I'm saying like it wasn't like 10. So yeah, you just saved my time, and this was like my first trade. Usually, like I held from. It was basically the same thing I did in January when I held from my last day of January to the first day of. So yeah, it was like 6.7 hour to start the
Beautiful.
month.
These
So,
end of month trades for you are always so great.
yeah.
I feel like it's been multiple months in a row now that you've done it on the last day.
Yeah, like a 1 month swing, you know.
There you go.
So yeah, I had this trade. Then I had a HMBL loss, but I'm just gonna go over the daily chart. Like I had the same idea, like all the stocks bounced, and also it also bounced, but then like was like forming again for a bounce. So I had a trade on a third. Here I lost, and then I actually had a listed trade. This was an interesting one.
Yes, sir. This was an interesting one.
All the credit goes to Varun because he's my listed scanner. So again,
Makes great watch lists.
so yeah, well, we don't really look at this. I'll look at this. So, and I saw first of all when he brought the stock, I was like, what pattern is this? Because you know this was like here, but then I realized like this like multi-month level, and the volume here was like not obviously dollar volume wasn't great, but I'm saying like relative volume was big here. So and then here the day before we had also a nice one. Then we had a gap. So I was looking to play the 122 breakout, and here if we go and it happened here, yeah. Here I actually missed my first entry here. I wanted to enter at 120, I missed it, but then here ended here midday actually, because you know time really doesn't really matter in OTCs in listed.
Yeah,
so here it had like this, it was kind of like swizzling, but it wasn't like very clear level. So I just entered here because it broke this trend. My risk was 122. So yeah, and then I didn't sell here, and I was kind of you know beating myself up because like I should take 3 hour in this market, not in this market, but like with listed. But I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just stick to my plan. So then we had this nice option in the close, and then finally hit my target. So I sold fourth there. Then I sold another fourth because I didn't want to like make my first swing like with the big size. I wanted to just leave half there. So then I kind of like left, and then and then I came back, and then I see it was like at 155, and I'm doing like the math in my head, and I was like 5-6 hour. I'm like, wait, what happened? Then I was trying to sell. This was I couldn't sell because on Fidelity you have to like go to the website to enable. And it took me like half an hour to call them to everything, and I was like, oh man, it was like at 160, and like at that time I thought it was gonna like fade, but then it finally worked, and I sold here, and then this was just very stupid. Like I literally like left. I put alerts here, but I guess they don't work after hours. and then I get so
Oh yeah.
I walked away, came back, and I see it was at like 170. So then I told her, yeah, this was like out of like I didn't expect to make 6.5 R, but it was
And
lovely.
that is what the oil and gas sector can do
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, that too. I didn't even realize it was only after this dip, like somewhere here, I realized that it was actually oil, and I was like, well,
I
no, I have
can't believe it took you that long to figure out that it was an oil and gas
yeah,
stock.
because
That's
I don't really
crazy.
look at the news, but yeah, and yeah, on Listed I use like so on OTCs I use $40 risk, here I use $20 risk. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm not gonna use the same size. Then well, then the next trade, this was just completely, this is piece of art. I had convictions gonna do this thing, but unfortunately I didn't held up that much. Here I had a very stupid loss. See here is called death.
Oh
So
yeah.
just I mean, look at this beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
this was crazy.
So the level 2 was lagging. I knew that, but like this level 585 was about to break, and then like the ask was below that, but the prints were above. So I was like, I thought it was gonna go, you know. So I entered there, my risk was 67, and then I see a print at like 56. My risk was 57, but the level 2 was showing bids at 58,
Oh
and I had
yeah.
no idea what's happening because I thought it was just like a, you know, like a misprint. But then I see like 10 of those prints, 20 prints. Then I see it at 5.4, 5.2, and I think like, well, that's fucked up because the level 2 was still showing 58 bid.
That's
It was
crazy.
it was so like it just froze, and then I just sold here. That was like 4 hour loss. It was very like very dumb. I mean the entry wasn't dumb, but like whatever happened was dumb. Like cause like I couldn't even do anything. You know, it wasn't in my control. But yeah, and then obviously of course it bounced back, and then
Right
actually
away.
I yeah, because it was still like in this channel here.
Yep.
And also this day was very crazy because I had to leave in the morning at like 11 a.m. So of course I had to take a trade before that. And then thanks God, whenever the real trade happened, I came back and I was at home.
There
And
we go.
like this was like a perfect entry. It was looking so good. Then here I even added, and then like out of nowhere it just had this pull. Then I sold, and looking back only now in hindsight, I can say that like maybe. But like, you know, the thing is, I sold because the market wasn't that good. Like I've never sold this kind of breakouts to work. You know, when you like keep the same risk for like days. So in this market, like I don't really do that. Also, I had like very tight risk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
unfortunately, I mean, look, it worked. Yeah, and it's still going. It still goes. So yeah, the only thing I learned from this trade, I mean, it was still 4 hour. Only thing I learned is like now, whenever the next trade comes, I'll have like more conviction. I'll have wider risks, especially when I'm already like up on the trade, and I can still risk pretty wide and still have like not a loss. So yeah, that's one thing because this was prime daily for me, especially after
Yeah, definitely.
especially after I missed this one, the CYBL, when I just missed my print at 121, then it went like nuts. And Jack Kellogg also had a huge trade on it. As you hear, it was, I mean,
Of course he did.
this is like textbook. I wanted to enter here, I just didn't get filled. So I still had the same idea. So yeah, it was sad to miss. This was like very huge. So that's why when I saw this, I was kind of convicted on DPLS. I said like it's gonna go to 1 whenever it was here, so like 0.1, and I seems like it's gonna go there. But yeah, whenever the next one happens, I'll have more conviction, like, and I have wider risks. So yeah, this was basically all the trades I had for those. Yeah, and also had another like a small loss on some listed stock. But basically, these 2 trades on DPLs they equal 0. Unfortunately, like I'm 0 in the trade because I lost like 160 and then I made 180. So yeah,
Hey, still, that's freaking awesome.
yeah. This one actually I used the biggest size ever. I used 45 dollar risk.
I
But
got
yeah,
you.
so yeah, overall it was like very active 2 weeks because I had like a lot of trades, like 8 in the 2 weeks. And you know me, like whenever I have a lot of trades in, like means there are actual plays because I'm
Yeah.
very picky. And I forgot to say you also held Ilus overnight. I'm long overnight. We'll see how it goes. I hope it gaps.
Yep, I was looking at that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
definitely.
like what? Let's see. I added, so I have 14.6 average. So yeah, pretty good week so far, and the month overall is good. But like, I really hope that it continues. Like, if only it continues, like the next week, the next week, the next weeks. Because I remember Jack Kellogg in the TUI show or something. He said like that all these stocks they just sold off too much, and then now they can like start to actually bounce back and then bring like new plays. And
Yep.
whenever he said like the day he said that, it was when the market started to be good. So I believe him.
Wow,
So I hope, yeah.
crazy how that works.
And yeah, basically that's it for me.
But yeah, awesome job, man. Active 2 weeks. Love to see it. How long have we been talking
Yeah,
about this?
because that was these 2 weeks, the like 2 weeks before those 2 weeks were when I had like one trade, two trades, those 2 weeks, and then like these 2 weeks are completely different. So it's very nice to see.
Awesome. Awesome. Is that all you got?
Yep.
All right. So I'm gonna go over my trades from this week, a couple of them. Um, let's see. This week was also a pretty active week for me. I mean, I didn't trade at all on Wednesday or Thursday. Tuesday, I attempted to trade in the car on the way to vacation, which was a terrible idea. I used very small size and still took a 1R loss because I had slippage because
Of
I had no
course.
service. I had no service,
Classic.
and it was just a bunch of crap. So that was really dumb.
So scary.
And yeah, never. I'm not gonna do that anymore. But Monday and Friday were my main days. Let me share a few trades from Monday, and I have already put a new parameter in check. Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay, so I've already put a new parameter in check for this week beyond. I am only going to trade the front side of the move. I have taken way too many cuts trying to take the backside of the moves, and they have all been losses. So yeah, I'm just going to focus on the front side of the move only. This is what I love to see on HUSA. This is one of the sympathy plays for the oil and gas sector. Drew my lines really quick. This was on Monday. I waited for it to take this little pivot right here. I entered at about 370. I took half off here up in the 380s, and I took the other half here up in the, let me move this. I took the other half off here up in the 430s. So, I wasn't ready for the market to be this volatile, but I'm going to start scaling out in thirds this week, especially if it continues. So I'll be able to get more of the move. And obviously, if I were to trade this again, I would have taken a third off at this first arrow, a third off at the second arrow, and a third off here up in the 460s if I traded it again. But obviously all I can do is move on to the next one. So this first trade right here, this was like a little over 3R on that one. And then I gave back an R right here, trying to do some dumb crap on the backside. And
Wait,
so
you said
I'm just
you
gonna,
are on that first trade?
yeah, that was 3R on the first trade.
Even with
And
the
then,
even with the first like early sell?
yeah, even with the first early sell.
Nice.
So I had 3R on that one, but obviously I'm implementing new systems, or not new systems. What am I saying? I'm changing some things around in order to accompany a more volatile market, as I should always. So yeah, so that was 3R here. This one I lost an R trying to trade the backside. I had a line here, so I bought this bounce off of that line. And as you can see, it went absolutely crazy later. But there was nothing, else for me all the way up here. This was kind of no man's land. But I was happy with this first trade. Front side is where I am focusing on, and I'm going to eliminate backside. It'll be better for me. I will trade less, but it will allow me to improve my win rate, B, improve my risk reward, because I'm going to size up on the front side of my moves. And I will do this. I will go over this next trade from Friday. Same kind of story, same exact kind of story. This was a gold stock, a gold runner. As soon as I saw this curling right out the open on MGLD, I was like, okay, this is awesome. So let me
Me
just do
too.
this really quick. Let me draw some lines really quick. I had one here, I had one here, and I had one here. So I bought this. This was a little bit different for me because this wick, kind of wicked under VWAP, but then the tape started turning so beautifully that I entered on this massive volume candle right here, right at the beginning. I got a fantastic entry on this, and I really love that one there. This one, it was after 3 days of, well, 2 days of not being at my screens, and unfortunately I piked the crap out of it. This was only like 2.3 R, and obviously I can kick myself all I want and say a bunch of different things, but now I'm going to start scaling out in thirds. I took half off here at 507. Actually, no, my entry was 472, half off at 507, fourth off at 522, and my last fourth off at 551. So, I knew that right as soon as I had my last sell, I was like, that was a terrible idea, because I just knew the strength that the gold sector, it was its time on Friday, and this was a, honestly, I'm not happy with this trade at all. And then again, same. Well, I'm happy with the entry, but my exits were bad. But same story as on Monday. I took another 1R loss. Trying to trade the backside, which this one was crazy. I was probably in and out in 4 seconds. And then I actually took another trade on this. So this went from 2.3 R, and I ended the day up 0.7 R just by taking paper cuts on the backside. And so if I can avoid the backside, which I'm going to, and size up on the front side, which I know that I can, I'm going to try to do in between. I'm going to start off with 1.5% of my account for R, and then move into 2% risk for my R. I'm not a huge fan of dollar risk. I like percent of my account more. That way I say, if it's 2% of my account, if I took a 50 R drawdown, that would be me completely blowing my account. And obviously, if I'm focusing on my front side, I'm not going to take a friggin' 50 R drawdown. So yeah, those are just some different sizing things, but I've got different scaling plans for this week. I've got a different focus by eliminating all backside trades like this one. My third trade on this, I got chopped out up in this zone past 11 a.m. I think I entered, somewhere here up in the sixes, and I got stopped out as it died below VWAP, and as you can see, it kind of rebounded instantly. But that's just backside crap that I'm going to avoid, and it'll allow me to be a lot more mentally clear for my front sides of the move and not take unnecessary losses, unnecessary paper cuts that I don't need to be taking. And as I allocate all my focus to the front side and size a little bit differently, it'll be much more beneficial than trying to force on the backside a little bit and just taking these unnecessary paper cuts. So that's it for me. I'm small green on the week. But that's not what I'm focused on at all. There's no shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I've got a lot to work on. I've got a lot to improve on, and that's really it for my trades. And for this week, I'm small red on the month, like $6, I think, in March so far. The small green on the week as well. So this is kind of just that treading water period, I guess. And next week, if the market continues, I've got a full plan intact. And really only four bullet points of focus in my trading lately, and that is awareness, control, plans, execute. 4 things, 4 bullet points, keeping it very, very simple, and not overthinking a bunch of things that like I used to. I've started doing something differently with my watch list as well, and I'm just focusing on what's moving. Anything that's volatile, anything that's moving, anything that's front side, I'm going to trade it. So yeah, that's about it for me. That was about it for my trades. And now we're going to get into a little bit of open discussion. And yeah.
I think it's all of us that after this 2 weeks, because we definitely weren't ready for these 2 weeks. That's why we didn't really capitalize. But now after this 2 weeks, now we have a little bit more conviction. So for the next week, we can have more conviction again, in the trades, maybe hold longer and all that. So
I completely agree.
Yeah. In the because right now we're right in the middle of the March after 2 weeks. yeah. So we'll see how the next 2 weeks goes. And
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the next 2 weeks can be a really telltale sign of whether we were like, oh yeah, hot market. Is it going to continue or is it going to die like it has in the past? Like we've been saying for freaking 6 months straight at least. But hopefully it's here
what's
to
six
stay.
months? It's not 6 months, it's 12 months.
12 months. Freak, a long time. Long time.
Oh, by the way, uh, this time last year, I had my biggest loss.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, March 10th.
Dang.
Well, actually, DPS was my second biggest loss. I didn't say, yeah. So
That's
dumb.
okay. You made it literally back the same day
Yeah.
and
And
more.
actually, oh yeah, whatever. I want to say like the trade that I then made was my, let's see, one, two. It was my fourth biggest trade, fifth. So
There you go.
yeah.
Still, that's still awesome.
And the good thing is
Heck
that
yeah.
I used a little bit less size on the one that didn't work, like had lost. So one thing I wanted to talk about, I want to ask you, Lance.
Sure.
So, because sometimes I see your trades, like you even say all the time, you say like, oh, I piked. So I'm just curious, like whenever you enter, do you have price targets?
No,
So
I
see,
don't. I
that's
don't have price targets, and I
this
will
one.
tell you why. Their price targets are few and far between, and the reason why is because the past 2 weeks have been an exception. Um, with no overhead resistance, it's a little bit harder to have price targets. I don't have price targets. I have basically I exit based on or I aim to exit based on volume, not so much price targets. So I use volume more in
Yeah,
my
but
exits than I do like the
how
price
can you like
movement.
because you trade like very quick. So how can like
Yeah.
you really be I think in like those like 5, 10, 12 minutes.
Wait,
But
say that
hold on.
again.
Like whenever the volume is small, you sell or what? Like I don't understand.
So I always make it a point. I usually lock a piece into like the first major push, whenever that is, because there's been so many freaking trades where I either a I don't take a big enough piece off and it comes down, it stops me out for a loss, or b it'll like get right to my resistance level that I'm looking to sell at, or it'll just reject. And so basically I'm adjusting my scaling, but this past 2 weeks has changed a lot. Like before these past 2 weeks, a lot of time what would happen is that I would lock half in and then I would set the other half of my original risk and I would get stopped out of my original risk for break even. I can't tell you how many times that has happened in the original few weeks, but this last 2 weeks it has been a lot differently. So honestly, for the next few weeks, I mean, I'm going to start scaling out in thirds, but I basically, an exit indicator for me is I wait until the volume gets too exhausted, and then there's a like sharp decline in the volume. Basically, where everyone else is getting super emotional, that's where I'm like,
I see.
aiming to be the most like, set in stone. But there's really no exact, like I don't say like here's 4R, here's where I'm gonna
Yeah.
get out. It'd probably be a good idea, yes. In this market, yes. But as I've been learning for months now, unfortunately that's not something I can do. But now it is definitely something to look into. There's just a ton of moving pieces with volatility that I haven't seen in a long time. So that's really it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's just because like our strategies are so different, so that's why I can't really like say what I do to like recommend you because it's different. Because
No,
you
yeah,
trade
for
like very
sure.
short term.
For sure. Yeah, yeah, if I'm gonna be in a move, it's gonna happen really fast or something's wrong. So,
Yeah, right.
but yeah, that's just always more learning to be done. But yeah, I appreciate the question because it's a lot to think about. It's a great thing to think about. So
Yeah, because like one thing I kind of like realized this past 2 weeks also, I was talking to Jay about it too. Like you know how like I always say I don't care about the money.
yeah,
it got to that point where I'm too focused on the risk reward, like too focused on the risk reward, because the only thing I see is the RRR. So it's like it gets to the point whenever I enter a trade and then I see him up for R, kind of like want to start selling, even though like, and I don't even look at the chart. I'm like, well, it's 4 hours, so it's like my goal, so I have to sell. So it is kind of like looking at PNL. What I don't know, but the thing is, because the way Jay does, he likes to hold more because he focuses on only on the chart, and that's one thing I will start to do. For example, let's take a CYBL that huge run. He had a very good entry and then add right away.
Yep.
So for him, the risk reward was like 4 hour right away almost. But then what if like so he doesn't mean he has to like sell everything there, but then the move like didn't even start like for and then the one thing he said like because he tries to think like an average buyer. So an average buyer, whenever he buys, he probably has like wide risk, and for him that's not 4 hour. And what if like I buy and my risk score is different? So then I have to sell there, but he has to sell lower. But it doesn't matter. Like the stock doesn't care where is your entry. So that's
Right.
for me. That's what the thing I did on DPLS. I was up at the top at like because it went to seven. I was up 8R at the top with my biggest size. But I didn't care. Like, I didn't even care. I sold only fourth at like 4R, and then I sold another fourth into the. So I sold because I sold like my. Because remember, I showed the chart. I sold my second piece because it's like cracked some level. Not because like I was trying to take the like 6 or 7R. So that's the thing I did. I just held because like I also heard this quote. There's no reason to sell a rising stock, and like you only have to sell whenever your trading stop. Trading stop like basically means whenever you move your risk up. So the way like I moved to 68, then it broke and I sold. So it's like whenever you play those breakouts, like you don't just sell whenever it spikes, you sell whenever it spikes and then you move the risk up with it, and then you sell whenever it breaks because it's like it's still gonna be sold gain, but you also give the stock chance to like go more. So that's the one
Yeah.
thing I want like, especially now, like
Yeah.
whenever because you look at DPLS, you look what it did. So like that's the one thing I want to like kind of more like a little bit go away from the risk reward and not even like look at it whenever I'm in the trade. Only look at the chart because sometimes the stock can be up 10% and I'll be up like 5R. We know it's only 10%. Like it's nothing. Like it can go like 20-30% if the like people come, volume comes. But like whenever I only focus on the risk reward, it kind of makes me to sell early. So yeah, that's also like my thing that I will look to work on in the next weeks. So yeah.
That's kind of exactly what I was just talking
Yeah,
about in a little
that's
bit
what I'm
different
saying.
of a sense. But I relate to that so heavy. Like I like don't you like buy to hold until you have a reason to sell. But I'm
Yeah.
just blatantly selling into the strongest part of the portion.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking half my position off into the strongest
Yeah.
part. Like
Look,
after the fact, it makes no sense.
like look
But
at
like,
my ABB, where I sold half. Well, that one was because it was PR, and I kind of like thought maybe it's gonna spike and drop. But still, like it went to like I know some people like stock snipers, they bought at like 97 and they sold it like 12. But my average was like 93. Then I sold half at half.
uh,
One only started the run, but like, because it was it was my our goal, it was my our goal. But like
right.
I should have realized that all the people now know about this, like and now it's gonna explode, and it did. And I only like sold half there, and then I sold a third into the next little push. So I didn't take the real like meat of the move at the top because I was focused on the risk reward. But so
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. It's really something to think about because like
yeah,
sometimes you think that like when a certain R goal hits that it's
yeah,
automatically just gonna reverse. Like as
yeah,
soon as your R
yeah.
goal
But the
hits.
stock that doesn't care where you are, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
also,
that's true.
another thing Jay also told me when he was in CYBL, at some point I mean he already locked some. He was like at 14, I think, and I was 8R for him. And I was like texting him, I was like sell, it's like 8R, Carl. And then he's like, you wouldn't have been saying this if I had different average. And I was like, oh, that's right. Because like if you had like
Ah,
different average and that was only like 4, I would have said no, hold more. But like the stock doesn't care what your entries, your R's, anything. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. So You have to like
I
react.
like the way he thinks about that.
Yeah,
I like that. Huh. Like if
yeah,
you
it's
had
like
this entry, you
refreshing.
wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
whenever he sent
interesting.
that, I sent that GIF and you're not wrong. And I was like, oh, that's right.
And also, if you guys haven't seen the episode that we
Oh
posted
yeah,
with Jay, go ahead and watch that. It was the 2 episodes ago. Link will be in the description for the episode with Jay. It was a great one, going over his journey. He was a great guest. We will have more guests on in the
yeah.
future.
We'll have
Count on
next
that. We've
one.
got one coming on.
The next
And
episode will be with Jonas. Yeah.
yes, Jonas. Jonas will be on. Jonas will be our next guest. So we're looking forward to that. Definitely.
Yeah, that's my new kind of like new approach on the risk reward, and yeah, I'll try to implement that in the next weeks.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy how much, your exits change based
Yeah,
on just a spark of momentum in the market. Like
yeah,
just where we were like, okay, yeah, I know that this is how I'm going to exit and this is how we're going to exit, and now we're having some momentum and we're like, whoa, I need to
yeah.
rethink my whole
Because
exit process.
in that market, like 4 hour, 5 hours, like it was like top. But now you sell at 4 hour and you think you took a great trade, and then goes goes like another 20%. With 20%, that can be like another 10 hour, and then you feel like, well, was it a
You're
good
like,
trade or
oh,
yeah? So
it's kind of like when you think that you're like thinking big picture in the stock, but you're not thinking big picture enough.
you're
Kind of like what it is.
thinking middle picture.
Middle picture. Dang. That's crazy. But yeah, so much to adapt to. And let us know in the comments how you guys are doing in this new market if you're trading at all. And yeah, because I know like, different, shorts, longs, whatever, a bunch of different strategies are saying, this market's good for me, this market's bad for me. And in all honesty, volatility is good for everybody.
Yeah.
Like volatility is good for everybody. It doesn't matter if you have a niche, if you have a process, and there's volatility and there's momentum, and you just follow it, it will work out for you. So
And also, lastly, I want to just emphasize on sticking to the same process. And the reason why I want to talk about is because, like, okay, I'll say it. Like a few days ago, Jack had a live, so I was there. Somehow I got in, so I was talking to him.
always on Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somehow
yeah.
I was talking to him, and I was like saying how like the reason why he killed the market is because he was doing the same thing in 2017, 2018, 2017, 2018, 2019, and then when 2020 happened, he was ready. So that's the same thing I was doing like all those months after the February 2021. Now the market was very bad for me, but I was still doing the same exact thing because like you cannot say that, oh yeah, whenever the hot market comes, then I'm gonna go study that, but then you won't have time to capitalize. Then whenever you're gonna be ready to whenever you're gonna be ready to actually capitalize, the market's gonna end. So that's why right now I'm doing all this, and whenever the market starts, then I'll be like 100% ready. So that's because I had some people who like reached out to me and they said like how, oh yeah, I went to list it after the February 21, and now I feel like I'm not 100% ready for the OTCs whenever they come back. Because whenever OTCs are hot, there's nothing better than them because it's super easy if you know how to trade them.
Right, right.
So yeah, that's why like all those months I just did the same thing. I didn't try to learn something new. I just did that. So yeah, I had to emphasize that.
Oh yeah, I definitely I think that's important. I was watching a podcast um today about changing your strategy based on the market environment, and it's hard when you had freaking how many months of like a slow market, and
Yeah.
everybody, a lot of traders that you're talking to are like, oh, I'm switching from this, I'm switching to this, and you're just like, nah, I'm good. I'll stay with what I'm doing. And it's taken a long time, but like you said, when the time presents itself, that you'll be able to go freaking off the wall because you've been ready and reviewing that entire time. So that's important, that self recognition of, okay, I have a good process here, and I know that this will work out for me in the long run as long as I stick with it. And that's exactly what you're doing. And now you're really realizing like, oh, this is a momentum market and I'm ready to go. So
Yeah.
that's exactly how it is. That's awesome. But yeah, you have anything else? I don't think I have anything else on my mind right now.
Oh
I had
yeah,
some notes, but I think I got everything.
I'm on a 40th day on the for 75 hard.
40?
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, I feel like you were just starting that. I feel like you
Yeah.
guys saying, guys, I'm starting 75
Yeah,
hard. 40
seriously.
days. Shoo.
Yeah. It's it's
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
it's really like just got I said like it's just a habit right now, and I'm just like remember like my only problem was the food, but now I just don't care about all those burgers and anything. I just don't care, just eat my little food every day, and that's it. And but still,
Wow.
whenever I end, I'm just gonna go to this nice restaurant.
Oh, yep. Looking forward to hearing about that. You were gonna feast. Awesome. 40 days. Wow, man. That's crazy. Time is really flying.
35 days,
Awesome.
35 more days.
35 more days. A little bit more than halfway.
Yeah, and the good thing is I actually, because I'm finally reading, you know, it's good. I finished one book and I almost finished the second one.
Dude, heck yeah.
That was the thing I always dreamed to use actually, to finally use my spreadsheet that I made like 10 months ago.
Nice.
Like, yeah, finally using it. So yeah,
Awesome. Great job. Can't wait to continue to hear about it. All right, Alex, we got anything
pretty
else
much,
or is that
yeah,
all?
I think, yeah.
All right, guys, I think we're good for this episode. I think
Next
that
one's
we
gonna be
we
great.
both speak to everything that was on our mind, and it's been a while since we've been on one, but we're looking to get back into the regular swing of things as these next few weeks come into play, and update you guys on whether the market stays or whether the market leaves. But thank you guys for watching. Let us know in the comments what else you like or how you guys are doing in your trading. Thank you guys for watching this video. And please like and subscribe. If you like what we're doing, then hit the notification bell. We will have some guest episodes coming in the
Yep.
future, so be on the lookout for those. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.
See you next week.